Hi everyone, welcome back. This is video 12 and it's a big one. Two topics in one video. First 10 questions on routing, how React router works, nested route parameters, protecting routes, authentication and role based access, lazy loading routes, and 404 pages. Then we move into architecture and design, put in question on structuring a large application, reusable components, compound components, render props, high order components versus hooks, custom hooks, and designing a scalable design system. 24 questions total. Let's get started with routing. How does React router works? So React router matches the current URL against a set of routes you define and renders whichever component fits. It updates the page without a full reload by intercepting navigation and swapping components on the client side. Your whole app structure is really just a tree of these route definitions. Browser router versus hash router. What is the difference? So browser router gives you clean URLs using the browser's real history API, but it needs your server configured to handle direct loads of any route. Hash router puts everything after a hash symbol, which the browser never even send to the server. So it works anywhere with zero setup at a cost of uglier URLs. What are nested routes? Nested routes let a child route render inside its parent layout instead of replacing the entire page. The parent defines shared UI like a sidebar once and marks exactly where child route should appear using an outlet. So every child route automatically gets that shared layout for free. What are route parameters? Route parameters are dynamic parts of a URL like an ID that change between digits. You define them with a colon in your route path and read the actual value inside your component using a hook like use param. So that's how a single route can handle and user's profile page. How do you protect routes in React? Protecting a route usually means wrapping it in a guard component that checks say some condition first, like whether the user is logged in. If the check fails, you redirect them elsewhere, typically to a login page. If it passes, the actual protected component just renders normally. How do you implement authentication based routing? Authentication based routing starts with tracking login state somewhere, global context, Redux, or a custom auth hook. Every protected route checks that state before rendering. Logged out users get redirected to login, and often already logged in users get redirected away from the login page too. How do you implement role based access control? Role-based access builds directly on authentication. You store the user's role alongside their login state, and your route guard checks the role specifically, not just whether they are logged in. If they are logged in, but lack the right role, you show a forbidden page or redirect them elsewhere. How do you lazy load routes? Lazy loading routes means wrapping each page's component in React.lazy so it becomes its own separate bundle, downloaded only when the user actual visits that route. Wrap your route in suspense to show a fallback while the download happens. This is exactly the route based coding splitting we touched on back in video 2. So, how do you handle 404 pages? Handling a 404 in React router is simple. Add a route with a wildcard path placed last in your list of routes. Since routes are checked in order, this only matches when nothing else did, and renders a proper not found page instead of a blank screen. How do you preserve state during navigation? A few options here. React Router lets you pass state directly through a navigation, readable on the page you land on. For anything that needs to persist more broadly, global state naturally survives route changes, and for the things like a search term, putting them in the URL as every parameters keeps them intact even through a refresh. How do you structure a large React application? So this is the question which can be asked, which is asked in most of the architecture level interviews, and this is very important for any developer to understand how can we create a better architecture. So we can say that a large app stays manageable by organizing around features, not just file types. Everything related to one feature lives together. Keep a clear shared layer for things generally reused everywhere and separate concerns clearly. So UI, business logic, and API calls each have an obvious place to live. Uh, Feature based versus type based folder structure, which is better? Type-based structure groups files by what they are, all components together, all hooks together. It's simple at first, but related code for one feature ends up scattered across the project. Feature-based structure groups file by what they belong to, everything for cart or everything for auth lives together, and it scales for better. It scales far better as an app grows. So, how do you design reusable components? uh, Reusable components stay focused on one clear job instead of trying to do everything. They take configuration through props so parent can adapt them to different situation, and they avoid assuming everything anything about where they will be used. A genuine reusable component doesn't care what page it's on. What actually makes a component reusable? A component becomes reusable through predictable, well defined props with sensible defaults. It should not be quickly depend on some specific context or global state existing elsewhere, and it should be flexible enough for real current needs. Over engineering for every hypothetical future case usually makes it harder to use, not easier. Presentational versus container components. What's the difference? A presentational component only cares about how things look. It receives data and callbacks as props and usually has no state of its own. A container component handles how things work, fetching data, holding state, business logic, and passes what it gathers down to presentational children to actually display. What are compound components? Compound components are a set of components designed to work together, sharing state implicitly through context rather than through explicit props. Think of a tabs component with tabs dot list and tabs dot panel as children. You can arrange and compose them freely instead of being locked into one rigid all-in-one component. What is the render props pattern? The render props pattern means passing a function as a prop, which the component calls to determine what to render. The component itself handles some logic or data, but the caller decides exactly how to display it. Before hooks existed, this was a common way to share reusable logic across components. What are high order components? A quick recap since it ties into the next few questions. A high order component is a function that takes a component and returns a new enhanced version of it. They were the standard way to share logic like authentication checks across components. Today, most of that same job is handled by custom hooks instead. HOC versus hooks, which should you use? HOCs wrap a component inside another component, which can lead to deeply nested wrapper when you combine several of them. So hooks are just functions called directly inside a component with no extra nesting at all. For sharing logic today, hooks are almost always the better choice. High order components mainly show up in older code. What are custom hooks? So another quick recap, a custom hook is just a function whose name starts with a use, and inside it you are free to call other hooks, and it exists to extract reusable stateful logic out of a component instead of duplicating the same use state and use effect everywhere. This is the modern replacement for most high order component and render props use case. How do you design a good custom hook? A good custom hook has one clear responsibility, which makes it easy to name, test, and actual reuse elsewhere. It returns a simple, predictable shape, a value, or a small object instead of something surprising, and it stays decoupled from any specific UI. So the same logic can power completely different looking components. How do you separate business logic from UI? The standard approach is moving logic, data fetching, calculation, validation into custom hooks, and keeping the component itself focused purely on rendering. The component calls the hook and displays whatever it returns. This also makes both pieces easier to test independently since the logic does not need any UI to actual run. How do you handle uh, cross-cutting concerns and React? So cross-cutting concerns are things that touch many unrelated parts of an app, logging, authentication, error handling. The common thread in solving all of them is centralized the logic in one place, like a custom hook, context, or a shared utility, instead of repeating it inside every component that needs it. How would you design a scalable design system? A scalable design system starts with design tokens, colors, spacing, typography defined once and reused everywhere. From there, you build small, composable, primitive first, like buttons and inputs, and large components are built out of those. So document everything clearly, often with a tool like Storybook, and version the whole system like any other package, so team can upgrade on their own teams. So that's the wrap for video 12. We covered routing end to end, how React router works, nested routes, protecting and lazy loading routes, and 404 handling. Then we moved into architecture, structuring large apps, reusable components, compound components, standard props, high order component versus hooks, custom hooks, and scalable design system. If this helped, drop a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comment what to cover next. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.